All right. Welcome back to the Malapert Smark Podcast. This is the farewell show, the dreaded farewell show for our fans who have been dreading us going on hiatus. But we'll get to that later. We'll say our goodbyes at the end of the show. For right now, we're going to start the show. We're going to do our WrestleMania reviews because we didn't do WrestleMania reviews the night of WrestleMania because we were just watching WrestleMania. So let me invite my guests on the show and introduce them. Vlad, the wrestling expert, welcome back. Are you excited for the last episode or what?
I am indeed. It's as fun as it is to talk about wrestling. I am also happy that we are going on a break. Let's call it a break.
Yes. Well, Hall of Famer Vlad, who's been inducted into the Malapert Smark Hall of Fame.
Oh, God, here we go.
Recently, yes. Thank you for being on today. We're going to have a good time talking about this show that I hardly remembered, really, but we'll talk about that later. Robert was also at my house. Robert, the Frozen Asian, thank you for being on today. This is a momentous occasion.
Yes, it is.
We're going to review, with no classic footage today, but maybe you'd consider this WrestleMania that we're reviewing a classic? Was it a classic?
I would say no.
I would probably say no as well.
I mean, we were having a good time at my house just because it was WrestleMania and we were just ready to party and enjoy whatever came our way. But yes, looking now a week later, and better that we didn't do the show that night, let me tell you, because at least now we can look back and think about it in more cosmic, historic wrestling terms, right? About whether...
No, that part's true.
Was it a really historically great show? I mean, I had a blast when it happened, but yes, we're gonna go through it all in detail and see what you guys thought of each thing. So overall, though, no, not a cosmically great WrestleMania. Not one of the top best WrestleManias. For you.
No,
definitely not.
Definitely
not
not.
one of the best.
Not one of the best. It had a moment as far as that triple threat main event in night one that I think going to be talked about for many years. It had another moment that the main event of night two that's also going to be talked about for some good reasons and some bad. I'll put it that way. I guess when we get to the review of that, I'll talk about it. But yeah.
All right. Well, before we get to that, let me jump to my official blog post for this episode. Every episode, I make a new blog post so we can organize our topics. But this is the farewell episode. Again, we will be back as soon as we can. But there's an announcement first before we get to our WrestleMania reviews. This is a text message relayed from Vlad, the wrestling expert, on Twitter. Let me see if my Twitter actually works. See, I relayed your text message on X. So.
Oh God! Oh no! Oh,
Vlad,
yes. Oh, that
Vlad,
one. Yes.
Yes. Vlad, this was sent to me yesterday. I am making an announcement effective immediately. I will not be watching AEW shows and won't be reviewing them. If something interesting happens and I hear about it, I'll give it a peek. But for now, I'm closing the book on the AEW experiment for me. Vlad, the wrestling expert, via text message. All right. So, yes, Vlad, you're done with AEW. We're going on a hiatus. This is a good point for us to, kind of take a break in our wrestling life. We got to have real lives too. But you've been submitting your reviews on AEW Dynamite with Robert since October. It's been about 6 months, I guess. And then before that, we were still reviewing the shows on podcasts for another year before that, year plus. And you're closing the book on it. So that's it. You're giving up. And
I pretty much have watched, I would say almost every episode since its debut. I mean, here and there, obviously I skipped around some, I can't watch, especially AEW, I can't watch the whole way through. But I think
you did, though. You watched every Dynamite, which is all that matters, really. You basically watched every Dynamite.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I watched every Dynamite since its debut. So, yeah, but I think I've had enough. I think I've had my fill. And it's just not my type of wrestling. I've kind of given up on it changing. I am curious about a few people there and what happens to them, specifically MJF. But other than that, I think I don't really want to waste 2 hours every week of my life watching it, for one, and then having to think about it and then also then discussing it as well. So, yeah, I mean, if something cool happens, if you guys see something cool, you could always let me know about it. I'll give it a look, like I said. But as far as watching it, I think I'm.
But yeah, they failed us. They failed us. They did not give us what we wanted, and now that's it. The story's over. This is what it is. So, Robert, do you agree with Vlad that you don't enjoy AEW? Are you sticking with AEW, or what's your deal with AEW? Because
Okay.
Go
It's
ahead,
funny because he made the announcement that he stopped watching AEW, or he's gonna stop watching AEW. But I haven't watched any AEW for the past few weeks, and I haven't posted anything about AEW in the past few weeks. But that wasn't okay. That wasn't planned. It just kind of worked out that way. I don't know. There's been a lot going
you
on.
got busy.
Yeah, I got busy. The NBA playoffs and then other TV shows I wanted to watch.
Yeah.
So I just
You didn't have a
time for it.
breakup. It just kind of like
Yeah,
got
it just-
beaten out by other shows and stuff.
Exactly, but that doesn't mean like I didn't plan that to happen. I do plan on probably watching next week's episode. I'm not sure. We'll see how. Oh, actually, hold on. Wednesday is game 5 of the Laker game. Man, never mind. Probably not. So I don't know. So it depends. Again, really, it's more depending on the circumstance. But yeah, I haven't watched or reviewed AEW for maybe 2 or 3 weeks now. But it's not something that I plan on continuing to do, to just stop watching. But we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, so little has been happening. Really, you could just jump back in, and a couple of explanations of a couple sentences will catch you up. And you're right, Vlad. If it does ever pick up again, you could just start watching. Like if it gets really good, if I'm like, Vlad, this is great, you got to watch this. Then, if it's good wrestling, if it's what you want, I'm sure you're not gonna like deny watching it because it's AEW. Like you just don't like it. If it was something good, you would watch it.
I don't like it in its current form. And I would say for Robert, who's saying he hasn't watched it in a couple weeks and stuff like that, that makes sense. But I think if it was actually any good, he would try to find a time to watch it. Like we watch stuff that we want to watch and things that are good. We find time for it. Like we find time for good TV shows and sports that we care about. If we cared about the product enough, we would watch it. And in this case, I've just stopped caring. I just don't care about any of these people and what happens to them. Good luck to all of them. But
yeah,
wish them happiness and success and good health. But
unfortunately, Tony Khan just kind of it's all right. It's not an awful show. Like it's something. There's some entertainment in there.
Sometimes it's a really awful show, I would argue.
Sometimes it is. I mean, like I would say it's just very overbooked, and he makes things very complicated for things that really shouldn't be complicated. Like if it's really top guys and you want to make some intricate storyline with like Cody and CM Punk, and all right, people are going to pay attention because it's those guys. But when you make a storyline that's all confusing and complicated, and all these relationships between the Young Bucks and Swerve Strickland and freaking Ops and Hook and Katsuyori Shibata, like nobody cares about all these people enough to follow all these complicated, intricate storylines that deeply. Like he's trying too hard. I think he should just simplify it and concentrate on like just basic wrestling feuds, like what WrestleMania does. You know what I mean? They just had single feuds, like this guy's feuding with this guy, this tag team. At this point in the show, the thing I would criticize about it right now, the thing that drove me mad watching it last week, is just like, yeah, dude, I'm really trying to follow your show here. I'm really giving it my best to follow this storyline, and I'm even writing it down and taking notes and and it's still really too fucking hard to follow. So I'm sure people just get lost in it and nothing really registers. And
just to a quick point, that's not really. I mean, yeah, that is a problem. I would say probably for some people, but my biggest problem is just not my type of wrestling. Like their mindset is more of just like putting on bangers, which they consider bangers, but I don't. So I think
high flyers.
That is the core of the company. Like they just want every match has to be 5 stars, but it's not really realistic in wrestling for that to happen, or should it even be happening? And most of these matches are what they consider 5 stars. I don't consider 5 stars. I don't consider somebody flying around the ring and kicking out of everything a 5-star match. And that's really where they lose me. They lose me in the type of wrestling that they and the type of wrestling fans they appeal to. I'm just not one of them, and I've just realized that throughout the years. And so why am I going to continue to watch something that I'm not enjoying? You know, at the end of the day, that's kind of the decision I made. So I'll leave it at that.
All right, I got you. Okay, well, let's move on from AEW then. I wasn't expecting to get any AEW on today's show. It was supposed to be a mainly WrestleMania and WrestleMania Fallout review show, but okay. So let's move along. So WrestleMania reviews, WrestleMania 41. All right, so we're recording this on a Sunday night. WrestleMania was actually a week ago. So, I think people have submitted their reviews and all that, but
oh, yeah.
we're still doing this for posterity, because this is an important show, I think. A lot of important things happened. So we want to get our thoughts recorded here on our YouTube channel for all of eternity, for all of wrestling fans to see, because we don't really do this for the people. We do this for ourselves, all right? We do this podcast because we love doing it. And if people watch it, that's great. And a lot of people have watched it, and that's cool. And we appreciate everyone who's watched it. But, we probably would have done this if nobody watched it. Because I just like having us recorded saying what we were going to say anyways. Because I was going to call you guys and be like, what do you guys think of this? What do you guys think of this? But to have it recorded, to me, is kind of cool. It's like a video diary that, gets recorded and stored for free on YouTube. So once in a while I look back on it. I'll go like, oh, what do we think of WrestleMania at the time of this year or whatever. So let's do it. Let's go for it. WrestleMania. Start with Cena and Cody Rhodes. Cena wins the WWE title at WrestleMania. So we're going to do our reviews first, and then I got a couple questions for you guys about it. So storyline number 7 on our WrestleMania Night 2 review. By the way, we did a blog review of everything already. That's in the description below. Thumbs up, thumbs down for every storyline. We've been doing that on our channel, on our YouTube posts. Go check it out and go check out all our reviews. But here we are. So John Cena breaks Ric Flair's record for most major wrestling titles, defeating Cody Rhodes in the main event of Night 2. So our reviews. What did you guys think of it? This is our review system. By the way, if people aren't familiar with it, this is our basic thumbs up, thumbs down review system and how many points are given for each review. And me and Robert, we gave this 3 points. We loved it. Vlad, a thumbs up. He liked it. Okay, so still not a very high score for such a momentous occasion. The main event of WrestleMania. So you know what? For this one, since this is the big thing, I should go through the finish. So let's go through the finish of this.
Sure.
And let's give comments. If you want to blurt out stuff while I'm going through the finish, go ahead, and then I'll give you guys time to talk about this in a minute. This will be one of the ones that we probably go more in depth about, and the other ones we'll probably gloss over, really. So let me pull up the TV. Here's John Cena. So this is him coming out, and here's Cody. He had a cool mask, right? The mask that opened up. Cool. Yeah, I never seen that one. That was new. Here's them in the ring. But I'm jumping to the finish. All right, so Vlad said they had somewhat of a mediocre match in his comment. So whatever, I'm skipping over it. A lot of false finishes because I'm jumping all the way to Cena's 4th AA. So he's hitting a 4th attitude adjustment. And again, Cody kicks out. So kick out Arama here. But it is the main event of WrestleMania, okay. And then Travis Scott's music hits, and everyone knew what it was because it's the same song they've been playing over and over and over again.
Oh, gosh.
The crowd did pop, though. The crowd went, wow, so, okay. So Travis Scott's coming out. The first sign of anything, because everyone's like, what the hell's going to happen? Where's The Rock? Where's Travis Scott? These guys who haven't showed up on the show since The Rock and Cena attacked Cody. So here's Travis Scott, and he fancies himself the hardcore champion. So he has the hardcore belt, which is a defunct belt. But you know what, Vlad? I can buy that. It's not a belt that's in circulation, and if he considers himself the hardcore champion, okay, let's see him come prove himself and come be hardcore. All right, so Travis Scott.
Wait, what? You buy Travis Scott as
of right now. Well, look, okay, let me just say first off, going into this review.
Skinny, 100-pound guy you buy as a wrestler. Come on, get out of here, bro. Come on.
Well, listen, before I start this review, I'll just say, I'm not going into this with any previous, like, thought of Travis Scott. Like, I never liked him or hated him. I don't know who he is.
I actually don't know him as well, except for what you guys have said about him. I don't know.
I don't care. Like, I don't know if he has personal things that people don't like. Apparently, a lot of people don't like him. But
a lot of people.
Okay, so I don't really care. To me, he's just a person who's coming out. He's a new character. Apparently, he's The Rock's friend. So The Rock's sending this guy out.
Apparently.
And he's, I don't know. You say he's small. I think he's a pretty rugged-looking dude. You know?
I mean, okay, if you compare him to, like, an average guy, okay. But when you compare him to a pro wrestler in the WWE,
yes, exactly.
He's not a rugged-looking guy.
Well, look, let's just talk about the whole Travis Scott thing right now, because, Vlad, I think this is a thing that bothers you, that he's involved in this.
Not so much that he's involved, but clearly there should have been a spot for The Rock and not Travis Scott. I don't know what kind of... Should I get into it? Should I get into it, or should I hold on?
What, the spot, like the spot at the end?
Just the finish, the disaster.
The finish. Well, you just don't think he should have been in this. You don't think you think it should have been someone else.
I mean, he could have been in it, but in some form, but not as the main guy. It was a spot for The Rock. You know, that's who should have come out, because that's how this whole thing got off the ground, anyways. Now, I don't know what kind of shenanigans were going on backstage, but clearly there was something. I mean, I'm not going to go into it because I don't know. But clearly the fact that he wasn't there in any of the build-up, with The Rock, and then he wasn't there at WrestleMania, clearly something was wrong. Something was wrong backstage.
Really? You heard all this or what?
I just think so, because it doesn't make sense otherwise. I mean, it's just common sense.
I don't know. I don't think The Rock thinks he needs to be out there. Really.
But why would he send Travis Scott then? Then why is
he's a celebrity? Like, at this point, I think they want celebrities involved in major angles in WWE, and they're willing to train them. Because they used to just send celebrities out there to, like, look ridiculous. Like, he did some work here.
Travis Scott looked pretty goddamn ridiculous.
He took a bump. He took a bump. All right, well, let me go through the bump. Okay. Let's go through the bump. Let's go through what happened. Okay, so Cena is happy to see him. He's like, oh, yeah, Travis Scott's here.
Sure, okay.
And, okay, so they're going to, like, hold Cody Rhodes down, and Travis Scott's going to hit him, and I think Cody reverses it. Like, he elbows Cena, and then he crossroads Cena, and then he pins him, and Travis Scott pulls the ref out of the ring. Okay, so there's the first involvement, like cheating. So I guess that's a DQ, really, but okay, it's the main event of WrestleMania.
They don't want to take it on the DQ. Sure.
Let it go. And then Travis Scott hopped over the ring rope, and everyone's like, whoa, okay, that's cool. All right, that's a slick move. All right, you know. So he jumps in and goes face-to-face with Cody. He is hardcore, man. I mean, if he's got balls, what do you want me to say? He tries to swing at Cody. I don't know this guy. He's just a character to me. I'm just rolling with the story here. All right, he gets crossroads. I don't think this looked bad. I think I thought his work was fine, and I think...
Did he have any work to do there? He just had to lay there. Well, what was the... I'm pretty sure Cody did all the work there. All his job was there is to just not get up. And that's all he had to do there. So his work looked great. Okay, yes. If you talk about just laying on the ground, he looked great. He looked great. I agree. All right. So that's it. So there's no more interference. So the only interference spot in this match was Travis Scott. No Rock. So here comes Cena. He's gonna hit Cody with the belt from behind, right? I guess once Cody turns around, and Cody gets it back from him, and then this is where the important thing happens. This is the crux of the match, where Cody thinks about hitting him with the belt. Oh, and here's another issue in the match. What the hell?
And then Cena's begging him off.
It made Cody look stupid. I'm sorry, it did. Here it did make him look stupid, because there's no reason for him to even be thinking about it. Like, I understand, like, he's a babyface, but Jesus Christ, everything that Cena has done to him, I mean, I tried to do to him, everything that started this whole feud, he has every right to hit him with the belt at this point. It just made Cody look really ridiculous and really dumb. And the finish. That's what I had problems with. The finish. The match itself was fine. Right up until Travis Scott came out, the match I thought was solid. It was going okay. It was as good as it was going to be. I felt, given that this is really John Cena's. He's a 50-year-old guy. He's not wrestling full time. You're not going to get a 5-star Bret Hart, Steve Austin match here. You're going to get what you're going to get. But the finish was a disaster, I felt.
Okay, so Cody doesn't do it, and then he's like sighs. He goes, dang it, I'm not going to do it. And then Cena kicks him in the balls right there.
Yeah, I would have kicked him in the balls too, honestly, just for being a stupid.
And that was it. Well, he hits him in the head with the belt. So 5 attitude adjustments. I guess that belt is, that's okay. In wrestling lore, the belt is a belt shot. A world title belt shot is pretty much going to knock you out, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've always thought it was a little silly to me. When they hit him with the belt.
You don't think it would hurt to get hit with the?
No, bro. I think getting thrown off the top rope from to the floor would hurt more than getting hit with the belt. I don't know. It just doesn't look like a menacing weapon to me. It never has since I was a kid. But okay.
Okay.
But regardless, that's another point. So Cena wins. All right. There you go. He wins the WWE Championship.
And that part I was definitely cool with. For booking purposes, that had to happen. But I'm just how they got there is where I didn't particularly like. But the fact that Cena won, I was thrilled with. During the match, I was saying, yeah, Cena needs to win. Cena needs to win. Yeah.
Okay, so there goes Cody. Cody's out dejected, and he hasn't been back since because we're doing the aftermath too. But he's been out. And he's taking a break. I guess this was too much for him to bear mentally. So
yeah, I think
Cody's
taking a break.
gone.
That part is true.
All right, so back to our reviews. I loved it, Robert loved it, and Vlad was the harshest critic. So I guess I'll let Vlad go first, and then Robert can go after.
Well, I think I basically
plus 1 point on our scale, a thumbs up. You liked it, but not a very high score. Go ahead, Vlad.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. No, I think I basically already covered why I didn't like it. But when you were going through that finish, just to quickly summarize, it was Travis Scott interfering and not The Rock. I don't mind that Travis Scott was there. I mean, like I said, I don't know this guy. I mean, I hear he does some stupid shit, and he's, I don't know, in his concerts. I hear all these. I don't know anything about this guy. Nothing. I have anything. But the fact that The Rock wasn't there, I think, hurt the situation. He should have been there. He started the whole angle, so he should have been there. And the fact that they had a kind of a screwy finish with like Cody not wanting to use the title or hit Cena with the title made no sense. I'm sorry. After everything they've said to each other and done to each other leading up to this, it really made no sense for him not to. Like, what's the deal there? Like, how do you even explain that? You can't. So, yeah, I mean, the finish hurt the match. The booking itself was pretty good as far as Cena winning. Prior to the interference and all that stuff, I thought they were having a very solid match, very good. And the lead up to it was very good, I felt, for the most part. I mean, there was a couple issues here and there, but for the most part, it was really good. So, thumbs up just for the booking and everything else that happened. But I had to take some points off and everything that was wrong with it. And I'll leave it at that.
All right, cool. Robert, the Frozen. By the way, Vlad, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you didn't enjoy it more than that. I'm sorry you didn't have a better WrestleMania experience. But
oh wow, no, that's cool.
I wish you had more fun. But okay, Robert, go ahead.
All right. So I want to start off by saying my rating for this angle, this segment, reflects more so my feelings at the time that I watched it. Okay. I loved it, probably mostly because I was happy that John Cena did win the title. That was like the main reason why. And I thought he was hilarious in the post WrestleMania press conference.
He was.
He was amazing. Okay, but after some time has passed for me to digest everything that's that happened in WrestleMania, and specifically in this angle. I think my retroactive rating would probably match Vlad's, to be honest with you,
Oh my God.
because
Oh.
I also think The Rock needed to be there. He had to. I mean, come on. Last year in the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, The Rock came up to him and said, "Your story with Roman Reigns has ended. Your story with The Rock has just begun." Right? There was a new story to tell between The Rock and Cody Rhodes, and a lot of that kicked off in Elimination Chamber. This, again, just like what Vlad said, this it kicked off this whole angle, right, with John Cena turning. So yes, The Rock really, really needed to be there. So it sucks that he didn't show up. I've heard stuff about why he didn't, but I'm not really gonna get into that.
Because we don't know. Because we just don't know.
Yeah, right.
I've heard rumors about drama with Triple H, but just
Right. Yeah.
rumors.
But again,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get into that. But it just really I'm judging the product, right, and not the reasons behind it. It sucks that he wasn't there. And Keon, you mentioned that when Travis Scott came out, he got a big pop. To me, the reason why he got a big pop, and he got a pop from me too, but that's because people thought The Rock was coming out with
Next.
him.
Or at least next.
Yeah,
It was a disappointing pop.
Yeah,
It was like,
exactly.
oh, no.
They were popping because it wasn't really for Travis Scott. Okay, everybody expected coming out after Travis Scott would be The Rock, and when it turned out that didn't happen, then that there came the disappointment. So it wasn't Travis Scott's appearance that wasn't the problem. It's The Rock that not following him. So you got to take that pop that you heard with a grain of salt. That's not what the fans were expecting. So yeah, I loved it at the time, but looking back, not that great.
You guys just expected more. You were disappointed. Yeah, I think the way I would put it, with The Rock not being there, like if The Rock was there, it probably would have been like really great. Then I would have given it like a fire rating plus 5, 6, 7 points. But for this, I'll give it 3 points. You know what I mean? So yeah, it could have been better if The Rock was there, sure. I still think The Rock can face Cody at some point. I think he's sending Travis Scott out there. I think they're trying to make it so that there's some connection to The Rock, but he doesn't have to be there a lot of the time. Because I think he mostly doesn't want to be there. Like, I don't think he wants to do that thing he did last year where he's on a lot of shows, So I think they think this WWE thing is like a well-oiled machine, and they don't really need The Rock. Maybe once in a blue moon. You know what I mean?
I think that begs the question: is does he not want to be there, or do they not want him there? I think that's starting to creep up as people are discussing. Do they actually want him there? Is the question, which is kind of crazy. He's on the board of directors of this company, right? Which is an insane thing to say. But I think I don't want to talk about like all of that specifically because again, we don't know the full details and probably never will. But that's what it seems like because he had to be there. There's no denying that. But I think my other issue outside of that, like what I said, is the finish. I think you guys didn't really talk about like how Cody didn't want to use the belt and how that made no sense. You had to subtract points for that. I mean, you just had to because that's so stupid. It's so stupid it doesn't even make any sense. Like it makes Cody look really dumb. I mean, and that can't happen after the run that he had, unfortunately. But it did happen. So. Yeah, but I'll leave it at that.
Well, he's a great guy. He's not gonna cheat. You're crazy, Vlad. You're crazy. Get out of here. All right, let's move along.
I'm crazy.
Oh, question. Okay, before we move on to this, I had a question. How do you think Cena's reign will end, if it will? How do you think it will end? And then a related question: how would you do it if it's not? How you think it's going to end. So I'll start with Robert. Robert, both of those questions, please, however you want to answer them.
He has to drop the belt at some point. I don't see him retiring with the belts. Now the question is, to who? Does he drop it back to Cody Rhodes? That's probably what's going to happen.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's going to be the final match of his career, but that would, you would think that would be a big possibility, or SummerSlam, but that might be a little too soon, right? I mean, this is his first title reign as a heel, so you would want it to be memorable. I don't, a short title reign kind of doesn't make sense, so I don't think he's gonna drop it at SummerSlam, but maybe sometime after that. I don't know. Probably he'll drop it to Cody. I if he was gonna drop it to Randy Orton, I don't think they would be feuding right now. It's a little too early for that. So I'd say he drops it to Cody.
All right. So is that what you would do? Is that also how you would book it?
Yes, because at some point Cody's got to hit him with that damn belt.
Oh my God. All right. So Robert's final answer: he thinks Cody's gonna win it back sometime after SummerSlam before Cena leaves. All right, Vlad. What about you?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Robert there. I think he's gonna lose it, probably lose it to Cody, and SummerSlam makes the most sense because that's like the big pay-per-view, one of the bigger ones that they have still left. And I'm also curious, are they going to try to turn Cena back to babyface? And I think I was saying this right away, but even Cornette now even was saying, like, how is this guy going to turn back? Like, how can he even turn back after everything he's saying? You know? So I don't know. I'm curious. I'm actually more curious about how if they try to turn him back than because he will lose the title. That's just a matter of when they do it. I think Cody at SummerSlam is the best bet. How I would do it, I'd rather he lose it to somebody else, honestly. And I think the person that I'm thinking of is CM Punk. That's who I'd want him to lose to. I think it would be a great thing for Punk. It'd be a decent thing for Cena. And that's how I would book it, at the very least. I'd have...
That's not bad. I like that.
Yeah.
Just because I think Cody, I love Cody, but I don't think he really needs the belt. And I think sometimes he's a guy that's probably better chasing. I think it's actually been proven that he's, with this last year as champion, that he's better chasing than actually having the title. So I would have Punk as be the guy that does it. And it could be a SummerSlam match, or they could set up something really special prior to, like, right before Cena leaves. I don't know. It would be around December, I guess, right? That's what he's saying. He said he had like 27 dates left or something. So right, or maybe right in one of the last couple of dates, they could do something special. I don't know, but that's what I would do. I would have Punk be the guy.
All right. So you're also saying sometime after. You said at SummerSlam. Was that your final answer?
Yeah, probably it will be SummerSlam because I don't think they'll push it all the way till December. So I'll say yeah. I would book it as Punk, but it'll probably be Cody.
Cody at SummerSlam. All right. So here's what I want. Not this is separate from everything. What I really would want would be for John Cena to take that WWE title the hell out of here, so we could only have one title. So he could just be the last real champion and the last WWE champion, and take it home with him. And then don't even have a vacant title tournament. Just have it disappear, and have the World Heavyweight title be the only title. But that'll never happen. That's just my dreams. So, okay, forget that. How I think it will end. How I think it will end is, I think, similar to how I would actually end it. And I think it will end on his last date. I think he will face Cody on his last day, and he'll lose it on. And he's not turning back. I don't think there's going to leave that thing you guys are saying about turning back or leaving time or leaving room. I don't think so. I think he's just going to have that match with Cody.
So he'll leave as a heel.
And he's gonna get up, and he's gonna like be beaten, and he's gonna look around the stadium, and the people are still gonna give him a standing O, and that's how it's gonna end. And he'll just say goodbye.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
And I
possible
think
too. He doesn't have to turn back. That's true.
that's how I think it'll end. But that's actually how I would do it too. But one thing that I would change from how WWE I think they're going with, because I think they're just basically going with how Cena, the way he is right now, like they got that black, text. It's just kind of very dark and and he just has this personality where he's pissed off, right? But I wish he would just come out one time like this. This is how I imagine a bad guy would come out. And if I just want him to develop his character a little bit and be a little more showboaty and flamboyant, maybe a little bit like wear this thing, What is this white thing called? It's like a sash or something.
Actually, I don't know what that is.
What the hell is that? Why did Hogan wear that? But it's awesome. I want one of those.
Why didn't you pull up the image when Cena was in Bray Wyatt's crazy match and he had the NWO shirt and he was... You should remember. So
yeah. No, I do remember that. No, that's true. That would have been a good one to bring up. I don't want him to wear an NWO shirt, but I do want him to start acting a little more devious, I guess. A little more like happy to be a heel somehow, like a little. I don't know. I just think they should twist his character around a little bit, and not just kind of make this the character that we're gonna get for like 26 dates, where he just cuts a promo and that's it. But all right, that's it. All right, good discussion on WrestleMania, the main event. But let's go to the aftermath. So let's pick up the pace because we got the rest of the show to do, and I don't want to spend as much time on everything else as we did on that. But the aftermath was that the next feud Cena's going to have is with Randy Orton. So who would have guessed that? I don't know. On the next Raw, the next night, storyline number 1 on our review, by the way, he was jumped by Randy Orton after he cut a great promo. A promo that I loved. I loved it. 2 thumbs up from you guys as well for this segment. That Randy Orton attacked Cena. And then the very next Friday, upcoming Friday, they have a promo battle. They get pretty heated and pretty personal. Here's a picture from that. And Randy Orton again lays him out with an RKO. So that's how that segment ended.
He's been laid out almost every single time he's appeared. He's been laid out.
But in a segment that Randy Orton really, I think, kind of hit the nail on the head, that he was telling Cena he should have kids to fill that void. Like I thought this segment was fire, bro. Like plus, I thought it was fire and then some. I gave it a fire plus a thumbs up. So I gave it 6 points. Robert gave it 3 points. He loved it. Vlad he really liked it. So, all right. I mean, this was fucking awesome, though, man. This was 2 legends, man. Yeah. Randy Orton and Cena. And
very long history.
The promo battle was fucking excellent. It was really excellent. I mean, Robert loved it, so I know he agrees with me. But okay. Any comments anyone wants to make about the follow-up being Randy Orton? What do you guys think about that? Plus the promo battle, anything you want to say? I'll start with Vlad. You go ahead this time.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it was really good. First on Raw, Cena started it off with a great promo. The crowd, right? Weren't they like chanting that they were apologizing, right? I thought that was
the crowd told Cena, "We are sorry," and he didn't accept their apology.
It was a great promo, honestly, to start, and I was pleasantly surprised when Orton came out. I mean, in the sense of like, oh, I didn't see that coming, So that was cool, and obviously they have a long history. They basically started in wrestling at the same time. They've been feuding off and on for 20 plus years or so, right? So it was great. It was really good. And then the SmackDown promo where they were face to face and all that stuff that went with it. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of personal, right? Like saying, you are the way you are because you don't have kids. That's kind of messed up thing to say.
And then Cena started talking shit about everyone in the crowd who has parents. Like, your parents are losers.
Yeah, like your parents are losers. And he says that he's been raising all these people's kids anyway. So that's why he doesn't have time to have his own kids. I thought that was great. Cena was tremendous. Orton was really good here.
And then how about Orton saying, "Hey, fine, you're gonna be the last undisputed champion. Fine, prove it. Let's go right now, motherfucker." Like that was when it got intense and like real good. I was like, "Hell yes," you know.
Yeah. And of course, yes, Cena just saying, "Oh, nah, it's all good. We'll save it."
Yeah, but then he tries to sucker punch him with the belt.
Right.
He throws the belt at him and gets a shot in, but then he still ends up getting RKO'd. Cena always gets RKO'd or crossroaded or whatever, you know. And man, for a main heel bad guy, he kind of fucking loses a lot. Like Hogan never was like this. When Hollywood Hogan, he wasn't fucking getting beat up and left laying every goddamn time. So I don't know what the strategy is with him here. I think they want to make it look like, okay, he gets beat in the weeklies, but when it comes to the match, he's gonna get away and win somehow. You know?
Yeah, I think what they're trying to do with that is I think they are actually trying to say that he's not as good as he once was, and he actually is the weaker character, but he'll cheat to win at the end and find a way to win, type of deal is what they're trying to say with that. That's my opinion at the very least.
All right. Well, Robert, what do you think of all this with Randy Orton?
This is great. So I don't know if you guys remember when it was first announced that this would be John Cena's final year. We kind of started fantasy booking how his year would play out, and I actually said my choice for his final opponent was Randy Orton. I don't think that's going to happen now that they're feuding now, but I'm glad it's at least happening this year.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised it's happening.
Yeah.
Pleasantly surprised.
So great promo on Raw, and so I marked out when Randy Orton came out and did an RKO. All right, now the SmackDown promo battle. Wow. So we've seen many promo battles between these two for in the past couple decades. This is the first time where the roles are reversed.
That's true.
Where it's Randy Orton is the baby face and John Cena is the heel. It's such a weird dynamic we're not used to seeing in these promo battles, and for me this turned out to be the best. I mean, not that their promo battles in the past were bad, but for me personally, this was their best promo battle.
Hell yeah, dude!
It's interesting because the dynamic has completely shifted. Another thing that crossed my mind is this is the first time where they're both in the ring where Randy Orton looks like the more physically imposing figure in there. Like when they used to, in the peak of the rivalry, they were kind of like physically on equal terms. I thought Randy looked like a beast.
Orton does look like a beast right now.
Yeah.
He's probably the best shape of his life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to talk about how he looked next to Joe Hendry at WrestleMania in a minute. He looks fucking huge.
Oh, man, you said his name.
Oh, no. All right. So this is great. Yes, I am pleasantly surprised. When they were doing a Cena farewell tour, I didn't think they would actually go through with all of our fantasy bookings. Like maybe there's going to be one with Punk too. Like this will be great. So this is awesome.
So.
Okay. All right then. Let's move along from this. Let's see what we got next. I think we got the Paul Heyman stuff next because that seems like the most important stuff to talk about. Yes, it is. Paul Heyman turns on Punk and Roman.
Okay, now that's a great. That's an image.
It was the best picture.
Yeah, it was. That was a great picture.
All right, so let's jump to WrestleMania Night 1 review, storyline number 8. We might gloss through all this stuff later, probably just get some comments, but let's see. This is one that we do. This is also one that changed the landscape of wrestling, right? So we got to talk about this. So the unthinkable Heyman turns on CM Punk, and then Roman Reigns too. And he's with Seth.
Turned on everyone.
Okay, I'm gonna go through the pictures just real quick, so not in detail, but I'm gonna just go through like the low blows and like the order of events that happened at the end. So this is Night 1. I'm going all the way back up to WrestleMania Night 1, storyline number 8. It's really the only thing from Night 1 that we're going through in any detail at all. Nothing else from Night 1 that I'm going to cover. So this is where it all came to pass, where Heyman had to choose, and he passed the steel chair to CM Punk. So he chose Punk at first, and then here's Roman looking like, oh no, he's not with me, and then he low blows Punk. So the first low blow. There you go. I guess it didn't look as bad as I thought it did the first time. First time I saw it, I was like, it definitely didn't look as good as the Roman one. But, okay, so Roman's happy. Roman thinks, so Paul Heyman passes Roman the steel chair, and then Roman does a beating on CM Punk with the chair. So, looking good for Roman at the minute, and then he's going to do the same steel chair shot that Seth Rollins did to him. He's going to do back to Seth Rollins. So this was the imagery that they were setting up.
Which was the whole breakup of the Shield thing.
Yes. So Heyman's like, it's there for you. Go ahead and do it. And as he sets up to do it, Heyman drops low, and this is the greatest low blow of all time because the way his left arm sticks out when he does it, it's like he feels it fully, like ah. I love the way his left arm sticked out when he did it. Like
he must have hated Roman a lot more than he hated Punk. The Punk one wasn't as bad as this one. You're right.
Well, the way Roman made him kiss his ass for all those years, like shit. I guess he didn't really want to do all that. So, yeah, never seen a low blow with the left arm coming out like that. I thought it looked marvelous.
It did look marvelous.
It looked glorious. It was a glorious low blow. So then, okay, that's when we get the reveal that he's with Seth, and it's very dramatic, and he hands Seth the steel chair, and the rest is history as Seth Rollins wins the match. And so before we get to what happened the next night, because also some momentous stuff happened on Raw the next night, I want to stick our review just to this WrestleMania match. So what is our reviews for this? Let's see. A very high rating from Vlad. Very rare. Fire rating. +5. Way past loved it. Robert loved it. Okay. I gave it 7 points. I gave it a fire +2 thumbs up.
All right.
I thought it was fucking awesome, dude. I mean,
you've turned into a Dave Meltzer.
Exactly.
Yeah, my scale. First of all, my scale doesn't have. It doesn't have a limit. Technically, my scale doesn't have a limit.
Scale's to infinity.
Yeah, my scale's to infinity, but I usually stick around 2 or 3 points, but 7 points is very high. So, okay, I'll start with Robert on this. I guess you. What was yours? You loved it. Okay.
Yeah,
so, all right, go ahead. Let's hear your thoughts on all this, please.
All right. I mean, let's start with the matchup. You have 3 of the top stars in the business, the entire. Forget just WWE, like the entire wrestling business. You have 3 of the top guys. You're in for something special, and especially since this is WrestleMania, this did not disappoint. If this was the match I was looking forward to on night 1, which it was, it absolutely met my expectations.
Great match.
Great, yeah. As for the angle, the turn, yeah, it makes sense, right? Like, the turn on Roman. Like you guys said, the way Roman's treated him for the past couple of years, it does make sense for him to turn on him, right? And yeah. their partnerships, pretty much for me, it has run its course, right? There's really not much more to do with that partnership, and then him having a partnership with CM Punk, I don't think would make sense to maintain, because if they keep coming out in the ring together, these are 2 guys that are very good on the mic. They're gonna have to keep sharing mic time when they and neither one of them needs that, right? So it makes sense that he did partner with Seth Rollins. This is a fresh new angle. The only comment I would make regarding like why this is kind of confusing, this siding with Seth Rollins, is I thought Paul Heyman hated Seth Rollins' theme song. Now he's going to have to listen to it a lot.
Oh my god. That's so funny.
But yeah,
All right.
otherwise, this was great. I loved it.
Okay, Vlad. Please, any thoughts you want to give us?
Yeah, I'll try to be quick. It was an incredible match. I had some not doubts. No, I mean I didn't have doubts about these three guys' performers. Because they're all three are great performers. But just the fact that it was a triple threat. I always have questions on how these things are going to end up. But they put on an incredible show, and then the finish in this case was superb. It was out of this world great. Such great imagery, such great storytelling. It was really tremendous. I mean, I loved everything about it. I know I said the week before that I didn't see Heyman turning and becoming joining Seth and Seth becoming a Paul Heyman guy. But hey, I admit when I was wrong. I was wrong, man. I did not think he would turn like that. I thought Seth would win the match, but not Paul Heyman turning. But this was even better than I could even have thought of. So kudos to them for this. This was the best thing that happened throughout both shows by far. This was incredible. This was an incredible thing. And yeah, obviously there was more to tell on Raw that even added to the story.
We'll
but
get to that right now. Yes. So I also thought it was great. It was surprising, even though it crossed my mind. Remember, we talked about it. I was like, maybe it could happen, but I guess not. But it was still surprising that it happened. So it was cool. All right. Next one is the aftermath of this. Yes, the fallout. So this is from Raw, where Bron Breakker joins the stable. So that's the big happening on Raw. That was a big major development. So let's go to our reviews on 421, the day after WrestleMania, storyline number 3 on our review blog post in the description below if anyone's interested. It's very good reading. It's good toilet reading when you're taking a shit. You know what I mean? So the fallout to WrestleMania Saturday sees chaotic end to post WrestleMania Raw. So the follow. Well, I guess I'll go through this one too, real quick. I think it started with just the fact that CM Punk obviously was just not going to let Seth Rollins talk that much. So Seth Rollins came out to cut a promo with Heyman, and out comes Punk, and he's just going to start swinging away, right? Which I thought was good. That was cool. That was funky. And then he sees Heyman, and this is where shit. This is like the continuation of WrestleMania. Like, this is so good, and this is on Raw. This is really hot stuff. And Heyman told him, "You made me choose," right? That was the big thing that he was mad at Punk about. You made me choose between you and Roman. You put me in a bad spot. So, yes, CM Punk grabs him, and then Seth attacks Punk from behind and lays him out. And then Roman comes in. I didn't know if Roman would be there. I was like, I wasn't sure about that. But okay, he was there. He was at Raw, and I think he takes out Seth, and he Superman punches Paul Heyman.
Yes.
So Paul Heyman takes a bump, a Superman punch. So I don't know if that looked good or not. That's up to you guys to decide. But
it was decent. It was decent enough.
Okay. And then this is where the surprise came in, when he was going to spear, I don't know who the hell he was going to spear, but...
I thought it was Paul Heyman.
It was supposed to be Paul,
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Paul. I thought Paul fell out of the ring. But all right, so
he was getting up on the opposite corner.
All right, so a hooded figure comes in, and it's Bron Breakker. So that's the big surprise. But I should have known this when they had that Intercontinental match earlier in the night, and Bron Breakker had nothing to do with it or anything with that picture. So I should have known that he was going to be in this. No, this was a total fucking out of nowhere shit. But yeah, him and Seth Rollins somehow are forming an alliance with Paul Heyman. So that's that. All right, Robert, what do you think of that?
Great. This kind of gives me like the beginnings of Evolution vibes, like the start of Evolution, but for I guess the new generation. I have a feeling they're gonna add more members. I don't think it's just gonna be Bron Breakker. Maybe they could bring in someone like Rusev. I don't know, but
Ooh.
I'm pretty sure this partnership isn't just gonna be Braun Breaker, but this is a great start. I loved it.
Damn, this is a consensus triple fire rating from us three. I don't know if I've ever seen that before on anything we've ever reviewed. So
Yeah, I don't know.
awesome segment. All right, Vlad, anything you want to say about this stuff before we move on?
Yeah, no, I love that whole segment. I loved.
You more than loved it. It was fire.
Yeah, it sure was. It sure was.
On our rating system, this one over here,
It's beyond love.
it's beyond loved it. It was above it. It was
Yeah, exactly. No, it was amazing. I loved specifically the adding Braun Breaker to this. I don't know if they're going to have more members right away, just because I think right now you would think it's going to set up a feud between these four guys, maybe at some sort of tag match at Backlash for the moment. But in time, yeah, I mean, this is a great stable, honestly, a great new stable for Paul Heyman. Seth being the worker and Braun just being the monster that he is. And, I'm a big fan of Braun Breaker. I think he is the future of wrestling, the next big thing for the next probably decade or so. So it makes sense that Paul Heyman starts to manage him in a sense. And I remember there was an NXT match, right? Like there was one time where he
yeah, dude.
he
wow.
managed him, right?
And these two also fought on NXT for the WWE title.
Right. Wasn't that he managed him? Oh, I don't remember the whole details, but he managed him. I think it was when he fought someone important at NXT. I can't remember who or what that was, but I know it was just for that one match. But I think they were already teasing or testing the waters there.
Wow. Good callback. Who don't even watch NXT. That's funky.
That's how much wrestling knowledge is in this. I don't even have to watch to know these things, guys.
Yeah. I probably filled you in on that, I think. But okay.
No, that one I think I saw. But it doesn't matter. The point is, this is a great stable. This has been, and now they're feuding with Punk and Roman. I mean, this is great stuff, man. Just tremendous. Love everything about it. And can't wait to actually see what happens next. I mean, I know in all my reviews and all my comments, you guys, I'm trying to watch less wrestling, but I actually want to see what happens with this. So, unfortunately, WWE is keeping me in the wrestling game.
Yes. No, it is. There is some interesting stuff here to keep following. Some thoughts from me as far as Braun Breaker being involved in this. I guess he's decided to just pass on the Intercontinental title, I guess. That's one thing that happened here. He would have had a rematch clause. Or maybe he might still get that rematch. I don't know, I guess. But for the moment, he's willing to be Seth Rollins' lackey, huh?
Well, let me ask you this. Would you rather be the Intercontinental Champion and fight mid-carders, or do you want to have a program with Punk and Roman? It's a fucking no-brainer.
Are you kidding me? He needs a rematch with Dirty Dom.
Exactly.
I'm kidding.
No,
he should spear Dirty Dom out of his boots and get that belt back, and then. But I don't know. He's going to be subservient to Seth. It seems like Seth is going to be the man, and he's going to help Seth get the title. That's the only question I have, I guess.
It doesn't right now. It doesn't really matter. But I think if they presented to him as like, look, you're going to be working a program with Punk and Roman, and we'll have to take the belt off you. I'm like, yeah, no problem, bro. I think I'm good with it. So yeah, I think that's where that's at.
All right, one other thing from this Raw, because it was a really good episode of Raw, that I want to mention before we gloss over our WrestleMania reviews of everything.
It was
else.
one of the best Raws I've seen in a long time.
A lot happened on it. And including this storyline with Gunther and the announcers, which I thought was
really
freaking cool. So I'm going to go over this one. This is the last thing I'll review in depth. Not in depth, but, I want to show what happened. What storyline was number 9? All the way to the bottom. Last one.
Very last one.
Number 9 on Raw. So this stemmed from, what's his name? Jey Uso. So we're going to talk about that match. Well, not really. We're not going to talk about that match. It wasn't a great match. But this stemmed from Jey Uso celebrating his title win. There it is. There's Jey Uso, and he did a whole yeet thing, right? And he was yeeting a lot, and he came out and celebrated winning the World Heavyweight title.
With Sammy and his brother.
With Sammy and Jimmy. So I thought that was a nothing segment. But it set up the fact that that Gunther was mad that I guess the announcers were yeeting and doing the yeet dance too, right? So is that why he came down to mess with Michael Cole?
Yes. Because they were so happy that he lost.
Yeah, they're biased. They're biased announcers. What the hell? You know what I mean? So Michael Cole's like, trying to beg him off. Pat McAfee's like, come on, dude. And then I was so surprised when Gunther actually grabbed Michael Cole. Well, he pushes Pat McAfee first, and then he grabs Michael Cole and puts him in a fucking chokehold, which was
sleeper chokehold.
A sleeper hold. Oh, my God. So funny. So freaking hilarious. And then Pat McAfee comes out of nowhere and socks Gunther in the face to defend his announcer buddy, which I think this could be a good match, Pat McAfee versus Gunther. I think they.
I don't think they're going to work. I don't think they're going to work a program.
No, I kind of feel like they're going to work a program. He choked his ass out. Then he gets to Pat McAfee. Officials can't keep them apart. And this was excellently done, by the way. The way Pat McAfee would sell afterwards, and as he was walking to the back and coughing and shit, and then the angle they did in the back with the Adam Pearce talking to Michael Cole, saying take the night off, and Michael Cole's like, no, hell no, I'm not gonna be bullied like this. And then he goes back to the announce desk.
That got an amazing pop when he said he was going back out there. That just shows you that angle got over.
They even chanted Michael Cole.
I don't think I've ever heard.
What were our reviews on this? I gave it a fire, man. I really loved this Gunther segment, man. I more than loved it. Vlad loved it. Robert really liked it. 2 thumbs up. All right, any comments anyone wants to give on Gunther? I know he lost his World Heavyweight title in a very anticlimactic match at WrestleMania, but any thoughts on this angle that I loved? So I'm just gushing over it. So anything you want to say before I move on? Vlad, start with Vlad.
I think it's just another example of Gunther just being an incredible old school heel. This is a guy, this angle would have worked in any time in any wrestling territory in the 70s, the 80s, and then into the 90s when the territories were basically gone. It would have worked on Raw, Nitro, any main wrestling company or promotion, This was so well done. And he is so good. He is so good. For a guy that, obviously, English is not his first language, he's an amazing promo. Obviously, we know about his in-ring work. He's pretty much, by most people's standards, the best in-ring worker in the business. And then he just knows how to be a classic heel. I mean, there's nothing that this guy cannot do. He got this whole thing over. It was mostly all him. I mean, Pat McAfee did his job, Michael Cole did their job, but this just shows the greatness of Gunther to me. And this was an amazing piece of business. Now, I don't think it means that he's going to have a feud with Pat McAfee. I don't really think that's the direction they should go with him. I actually don't know where they go with him.
Well, they got to get him away from Jey, because I don't know. I think they want Jey to be champion for a little while. They don't want to just jump back to Gunther. So why not Pat McAfee? That sounds like a month. They could kill a month with that.
Well, unlike with Bron Breakker, where I'm like, it's easy. Like, obviously, I'd rather work with top talent. I don't know who Gunther needs to work with at this point, or who he should be working with. I don't know, but that's a question.
Pat McAfee can take him, bro. He can handle it. He faced Austin Theory at WrestleMania, so he can fight. Robert, what do you think of all this?
This is really good. For someone to attack the announcement team. Now, I'm not gonna say that's never happened before in wrestling, but it happens so rarely that when you do actually see it, it feels fresh. It's something you don't see often. So it's like, whoa, okay, they actually went there. That's a surprise. So that's what I liked about it, and I loved how Michael Cole turned down Adam Pearce's offer to just take the rest of the night off. He continued to do his job as a professional, even though he was very visibly distressed.
Yes.
But he still pushed on like a pro. So yeah, this was great.
Oh, I loved when they brought in Tessitore.
Oh yeah, Tessitore.
And he was completely he wasn't dressed. That was like the cherry on top of making this whole thing look so great and make it look so realistic. It was tremendously done.
Yep, really amazing angle. Freaking awesome for me. All right, let's run through some of our WrestleMania reviews from night 1 and 2. Not in detail, but we'll just run through our blog post and see what you. So this was what we just talked about. Jey Uso winning the world title. He choked out Gunther.
No,
so
ridiculous. Just the fact that he choked him out, it's really absurd. Couldn't he have just not pinned him? That would have been more realistic.
Well, I was the only one with the thumbs down. Vlad with the half a thumbs up. Robert with the half a thumbs up. I guess you guys liked something about this. I think you guys are just happy for Jey Uso. He deserves it, right?
It was more, yes. It's more that. I don't agree that you should have definitely not submitted him like that. You probably should have just won on some sort of roll-up. That would have been more realistic.
All right.
Okay, so if I expected Gunther to win and then he still lost, then I would have given it probably a negative review. But since it was very predictable this was going this way, I can't really hate it.
Yeah.
It was pretty much expected. The result was expected. So it was really, so my rating was how was it executed, right? Because there was no
the
way.
Fans didn't really help.
Well, that too. But since there was no way Gunther was gonna win, it basically like how I graded this is how was this match, the result executed. So by that, from that perspective, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah. Well, I sorry that I jumped in there, Robert. I just wanted to mention that the fans really weren't yeeting hard enough for Jey Uso, I thought, to make it seem like the fans willed him to victory. Like it was the first match of the night. They kind of weren't drunk enough yet. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So
it was the first match of the card.
The ambiance and the aura of the audience, I don't know, it didn't really match the occasion of him winning the World Heavyweight title. So that's something I thought about that. So I gave it a thumbs down. Plus, I don't know, Jey Uso beating Gunther.
Plus you don't like Jey Uso. You can say that. It's okay.
He's all right. I just don't think someone should get over just because the audience likes them for something that might be just silly. In that case, put Joe Hendry over. The audience fucking loves Joe Hendry.
No, don't.
You know what I mean?
Oh, God. Okay, well,
anyways, I mean, I like Joe Hendry, but his gimmick isn't the best. But it's over. The fans love him. So, I mean, TNA puts him over for that. So, yeah, but I don't agree with that. I kind of don't agree with that either. You know what I mean? So, I don't agree with Jey Uso being over just because everyone wants to yeet with him. I'm moving on. New Day. All right, so they won. I guess they got tag team titles. After that big heel turn, this is the first thing that they've given them. Indifferent from Vlad and Robert. I gave it a half thumbs up. I'm like, all right, thankfully they gave New Day something. If we don't have any comments, I'll move on from that.
No comment.
No, I don't want to take up time. Let's
Jade Cargill and Naomi. This is a match I really liked. I think I was the one that gave this the highest rating.
Yeah, that's insane.
Two thumbs up.
I don't understand how that could even.
Okay. Vlad and Robert, half a thumbs up.
How that match could get a 2 thumbs up, I don't know. I
liked it a lot, man. I thought it was a well-worked match. There was nothing wrong with it. I mean, they put on a show at WrestleMania. What do you want me to say? It didn't look fake or phony? It looked realistic to me. It looked realistic enough. I think Jade Cargill's work, as someone who's watched her since she was started in AEW, has improved incredibly. She didn't look out of place at all, and I was proud of her. So there you go.
So you were just really proud of Jade. So it's like you were just happy that Jade had this moment at WrestleMania to get a nice win, singles win. And
I think the story of it is cool too. Like she's someone that people didn't know if they could turn her into someone like this who could pull off a singles match at WrestleMania, and they put in some time. I don't know how much. It wasn't a short match. So
it was a little longer than I thought, but it wasn't like long. But yeah, they did enough. And when she can do her power moves, those power moves she does are really good. Like she looks great.
Yeah, and when a match is well worked, even though it's not like something, it doesn't have an angle like freaking Paul Heyman turning on Roman. sometimes a match is just really well worked, and I really like it. So I really liked it. All right, moving along.
I think you were a little too kind, but that's okay.
All right. How about Jacob Fatu winning the U.S. title?
This was good.
There's his. I think that's his uncle, right? Haku is his uncle, or is it his?
I don't remember now. The bloodline.
Okay.
Such a big factor.
Anyways, so he defeated LA Knight and just clean and won the U.S. title, which was, I don't know if that was surprising or not, but
I think we all picked.
Not surprising, but I really wanted this result to happen. So
yeah.
I thought there was a chance Solo could interfere and cost Jacob Fatu by accident when he was trying to help him. So
and then maybe set up a feud between them. That actually makes sense.
Yeah, so we all gave this thumbs up. By the way, while we're on the subject, I guess I would kind of love to just jump to that SmackDown because we're doing the aftermath of WrestleMania, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how about the Solo and Jacob aftermath on SmackDown when Solo came out and took credit for Jacob's success. He's like, if it wasn't for me, he wouldn't have been here. If it wasn't for me,
as part of the angle.
Yeah, but he was taking a little bit too much credit. Come on.
That's true too. Yeah, that's definitely setting up something between them.
Yeah, well, yeah. You see, so we thought they would have that for WrestleMania, but I guess they want to spend more time and actually set that up. Well, yeah. So that's cool. Okay,
that's cool.
So I really love this shit on SmackDown though with him and Solo. And then that turned into something else with the U.S. title that I'm not really gonna get into, but there's the complications there. But moving on to our WrestleMania. Sorry, that was a sidetrack of what happened afterwards. El Grande Americano got a win over Rey Fenix. He loaded the mask. This was a WrestleMania match. I think it was supposed to be Rey Mysterio, so I don't know. Did it take any of the luster off that it wasn't Rey, Vlad? Well, it was Rey. It wasn't Rey Mysterio.
It was a different Rey. Slightly, but honestly, I think at this point of their careers, Rey Fenix probably will probably put on a better match. No offense to Rey Mysterio. He's one of the great workers of all time and one of the great wrestlers of all time. But at this point, he is in his 50s, right? And Rey Fenix is a young guy. So as far as quality of match concerns, this would have been probably, it would have been a better match with Rey Fenix. So anyways, but it was what it was. I didn't really care about this, and that's why I gave it the rating I gave it.
Yeah, Vlad, and indifferent about this. Didn't like it, didn't hate it. Robert, half a thumbs up, and me, the only one who gave it a thumbs up. I'm like, I don't know. I like the finish. I like the idea of loading the mask. I've never seen that, so I thought it was a kind of a creative idea. Put the thing in the mask and
but one thing I did notice, but Cornette mentioned that I guess they were getting some flack from calling it the Gulf of America, right? And then I guess he didn't. They called it the Gulf of Mexico when he came out at WrestleMania. I think.
Wow. I didn't even catch that.
That was the funniest part of it. I
didn't catch it. That's what Cornette said. I'll have to take his word for it.
Dang. All right, moving on. AAA, they bought AAA. Bad news for wrestling overall. I don't know. WWE.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't know.
WWE gobbling up small companies isn't great for wrestling. It would be great if these companies could make it on their own. You know what I mean? But
yeah, given how shitty they treated ECW and WCW after the purchase in 2001. If that's any indication, AAA is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, what are they gonna do with this? They're buying them to be on the show for a few years and some content and some angles and stuff, and then that's it. They're gonna make it disappear. So, AAA, what?
Why? Well, you would think that they would. I don't know. You would think that they would.
Well, it's Mexico, though. They might want to have. A place in Mexico where it's like WWE's base, sort of. I don't know.
Yeah, they should still let them have their shows. I mean, I don't know what kind of business.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kind of I'm looking at it in a bad way, but still, it would have been better. It would have been better if these companies kind of just could make it on their own instead of them all falling off and WWE has to buy them. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me see. Moving along. Tiffany Stratton. Oh, this was a bit of a surprise. She won. I think Who picked Tiffany? Me and Vlad picked Tiffany. Robert didn't pick Tiffany. He picked Charlotte. So
I did.
I was a little nervous about this pick.
But I
for
said
me.
I wanted Tiffany to win. I just didn't think she would.
So as a match, we all gave it a thumbs up. I don't know. I didn't really remember it being groundbreaking, but it was fine. It was good. It was good, but it wasn't groundbreaking. And Tiffany went over. Interesting. So she's the one who continues on with the WWE title on SmackDown. So she had a little storyline with Jade. So Jade was the one who stepped up to her on SmackDown the next night, right? But the follow-up to that was that Naomi is not going to let it go with Jade. So
no, but then they brought
Nia Jax. Nia Jax is involved. So yeah, Nia Jax is Tiffany's next opponent.
That I did not like.
Well, why not? Her and Tiffany had like a storyline where they were friends, so I don't mind that much.
Bro, that's why. Because I don't want to see it. That's why I didn't like it. I don't want to see that match. I don't care about it.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Good point. Good point. I'll skip the match, but the storyline is fine to me. I don't know. Night two, real quick. Anything that we have to mention? The three-way. This was a great match. Great. This night two started off really good, and I had high hopes for night two because we were looking forward to Cody and Cena. So this triple threat match with Rhea and Bianca and Io was freaking great. Yeah. Me and Vlad dropping the hearts. No, me and Robert dropping the hearts. Yeah, Sorry, me and Robert loved it. Vlad really liked it. 2 thumbs up. Okay. Any thoughts on this before we move on?
This was the best overall match of the night. All 3 women put on a great show. Again, I may have disagreements on Io being involved. I can't wait to see a singles match between Bianca and Rhea. They looked fantastic. All their stuff looked tremendous. I mean, it looked like they were pretty stiff. But Io's cool for what she does. I'm just not, I don't know. I'm not as big a fan as you guys are of her. That's why I didn't really want her in this match. But I'll give her credit. She's good at what she does. She is good at what she does. The high flying stuff, the genius of the sky, or is that is right? Yeah, genius of the sky.
Yeah. This was a fun match.
This was a fun match. Really well worked and really, really good. And yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Robert, do you want to say anything about this?
Yeah, I think they're 3 of the best in the business, and this match proved it. Pretty simple, and Io Sky winning, even though I thought Bianca was going to win, it's still, to me, Io Sky winning still kind of made sense just based on how this feud was built, of how disrespected Io Sky was. Yeah. So it made sense from that perspective. But yeah, this was, as far as if we're judging just by ring work only, no angles or storyline turns or whatever, I would say this was the best match of out of WrestleMania night 1 and 2. If only looking at ring work only, this was great.
All right. Let's see. Next one, Drew McIntyre. You see, I was happy about this at the time, until I saw that the feud continued on SmackDown, and they're gonna get integrated into the U.S. title picture, it seems. So at the time, I gave it 2 thumbs up. I was relieved. I was like, oh, thank God, Drew McIntyre went over. But they're gonna fight again, and they're gonna continue fighting on. So thumbs up from Vlad, thumbs up from Robert. I don't know if you guys want to say anything about this street fight from WrestleMania. I thought it was a decent street fight. So
it was all right.
All right, then. Dominic winning the Intercontinental title, and Bron Breakker was in this match too, and Dominic was the one who came out on top. So I guess it was fine. Bron Breakker didn't get pinned, so they got him out of this scene without actually losing. So thumbs up from me, Vlad, and Robert. But Dominic deserves it. That's what I wrote. I'm like, he deserves it. The IC title. Come on, he's been doing good work.
Now, my only question is, to you guys maybe, or just to the internet, or to whoever, is Dominic now going to get cheered? Because he was cheered at Raw as well when he was shown with the belt and everything. Or is this just post WrestleMania crowd still, WrestleMania crowd's a little bit different than your weekly shows. Do you think Dominic now could have a turn babyface?
I think he could turn babyface. I think the wrestling fans respect his work. you know? And they're kind of over booing him about that whole thing with Rey and WrestleMania. That was a long time ago. People forget about things after a while. So yeah, sure. To answer your question, I could see him being a babyface. Why not? Robert, am I moving on?
I just saw one comment. I thought it was the pop that Dominic got when he won was crazy.
One of the biggest
incredible.
of the whole night. One of the biggest of the whole night. Yeah.
Yes, and I would not have predicted that. But man, wow. That's cool. That's all I was gonna say.
That was cool. All right, so the biggest pop of the night for me was say his name and he appears, the TNA World Champion.
Here you go.
Although I guess it's happened before. I saw some stat somewhere where it was the first time in 26 years that a champion from another company had a match at WrestleMania. So
I don't know who. I don't know who's the other one.
I don't know. Anyway, so it was Randy Orton's open challenge, and Joe Hendry got a pop. So I popped because I'm a TNA fan. I follow TNA. I review TNA on our blog posts on our YouTube channel. If you want, to review TNA. But you know what though? Joe Hendry lost this match pretty easily. He was in there quickly. He's really short too, compared to Randy Orton, as we were talking about Orton, how fucking gigantic he is earlier. But the thing that I forgot to mention with you guys, because I was kind of twisted that night, I was just happy to see him. But in the storyline, Joe Hendry is injured. That's why he was going into tonight's match at Rebellion, because as we're recording on a Sunday, Kazarian cashed in his guaranteed title shot against him on this pay-per-view because he wanted to face a weakened Joe Hendry who is going to fight with a torn bicep. And I totally forgot about this when it happened at WrestleMania. I was like, he's injured though. I should have known that. But okay, he got beaten easily. That's fine. He was injured. But there was a disrespectful RKO afterwards by Randy Orton too.
Yeah. So, I'll just say this. I think in some ways it's a good thing for TNA and Joe Hendry, and in some ways it was bad. I think when I talked to Kevin over the phone, I didn't see it yet, and I said, well, look, if you had a decent match with him, then that's really as good as you can really get for Joe Hendry. That's a great opportunity. He's at WrestleMania. It's publicity for TNA. But it was actually like a 2-3 minute match. It wasn't 10 minutes like I thought it was. And then he also RKO'd him afterwards. So it wasn't a great look. I mean, I still think it's a good thing that he was at WrestleMania. He got an opportunity to be seen and stuff like that. But it kind of made him look pretty shitty. So that's not good. That part wasn't good.
Well, in the storyline, him being hurt, that clears it up for me. Okay. Reviews before I get to Robert's comments. Robert, 2 thumbs up.
Oh, yeah. Robert
really
actually enjoyed this. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought Robert hated Joe
why. I want to explain why.
All right, go ahead.
That moment in the match when Joe Hendry turned around and his smile and the camera zoomed in, and then all of a sudden RKO out of nowhere, that's priceless. I loved it, and the fact that this was a squash match, I'm like, all right, good. I'm glad it turned out that.
Robert, so do you really do you hate Joe Hendry?
He annoys. I don't hate him, but he annoys me.
Is it just because the gimmick, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, that right there. Incredible.
That was great.
So follow up. Since we're doing follow up stuffs, he stayed around. He stuck around Las Vegas. Vlad. He was at NXT on Tuesday. Joe Hendry. Yeah, he stepped up to the NXT title scene because Trick and Obafemi were arguing. And he just jumped in there and he called Trick a whiny-ass bitch. Oh, my God. Hey, by the way, Robert, did you hear what happened today on TNA Rebellion?
No, what happened?
Oh, my God. Freaking Joe Hendry defended the title against Ethan Page and Kazarian. And he won, right, with the torn bicep. So he got through it.
Okay.
And then he got attacked post-match by Trick Williams.
Oh, really?
Trick Williams crossed the line to TNA and jumped Joe Hendry, which made sense. Honestly, I thought Joe Hendry was kind of disrespectful to him this past Tuesday. So, all right. So there's a little interesting thing for you. And I think Trick should win the TNA title. That's even though I love TNA, I think they should do an angle where somebody takes the TNA title and then Joe Hendry has to go to NXT and get it back. So that's what I would do.
Which he's already going back and forth, so why not?
All right, so I'm totally going to probably skip over this. Logan Paul and AJ, I don't think anyone really cared about it. We all gave it a half thumbs up. Okay.
It was fine. It was fine, yeah.
It was a decent matchup. Anything else? Oh, Becky Lynch returned. But I think this is more important for the aftermath of what happened on Raw. So Becky was the mystery partner in a match that we all gave, decent ratings. Robert gave a thumbs up to seeing Becky 2 belts back again. This time it was Lyra 2 belts, though. She won the tag titles, and she's the Intercontinental Champion. But I might have a clip of the Becky Lynch heel turn on Monday Night Raw, which is storyline number... Hold on one second. Give me 1 second, guys. I don't think... Oh, here it is. The Becky heel turn. So they gave the titles right back the very next night. I don't know what you guys thought at that very moment, that very instant when we were watching that. But, so there Lyra is all dejected, and Becky Lynch looks at her and gives her a hug, and then fucking clotheslines the shit out of her. And then she starts going crazy, like, don't you know, I have kids now, and you just fucking lost us the title. What the hell am I supposed to do? Since she's had kids, she's just turned into a fucking crazy bitch or something. So Lyra's like, what the fuck? And
actually, Becky so was I. I was also saying, what the fuck?
Oh my god. Well, hold on. On our Raw review, if I could pull that up. Sorry, I don't have it prepared here that well. But I do want to see what ratings we gave this. So, where's our Raw review of Becky Lynch? Here it is. So, 2 thumbs up from Kaon. Yeah, I really like this heel turn. Sure, why not? Vlad a thumbs up, Robert a thumbs up. But there's probably logical issues with this. Why the hell was she friends with her one night and then the next? Is she really? What the hell happened here? Okay, who wants to comment on this?
Well,
who wants to go first?
That's not even. Well, for me, that's not even the question that came to my mind. Is why be a friend on one night and turn the next? My question is why win the title only to drop it the following night? And that was the question that came into my mind. I thought it was a little too soon for that.
Yeah. Well. Okay, yes, very quick title change. Very odd. But I guess they just wanted to force in this heel turn somehow, huh, Vlad?
Well, because it's meaningless titles. Sorry, the women's tag team titles. They could somebody could win or lose that every night, and I wouldn't care. But no, the heel turn is the story here, because I don't understand how she could turn on her like that after she was so happy to be her partner and filling in for Bayley the night before, and then the next night they lose. Barely. It was another good match. And then she just beats the shit out of her. Whoa, okay, let's go with it. But yeah, it didn't quite make a lot of sense. But yeah, I went with it.
Well, it wasn't that fiery Raw that was a lot of shit happened. So that was one of the things that happened on the follow-up to Monday Night Raw. So I think that's all we got, because the last one we've already covered, the John Cena beating Cody Rhodes. So that's it. That'll conclude our WrestleMania 41 review. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
On WrestleMania?
Or WrestleMania?
On WrestleMania 41.
You mean just overall, like what the grade would be?
Yeah.
For night 1 and night 2, I'd probably give it a thumbs up overall. I think
thumbs
there was some.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so. I think overall I enjoyed the show. I still think it's a lot of wrestling to watch. It's kind of problematic. I think 7-8 hours of wrestling is a lot. I don't think it really is necessary. They used to, for the longest time, in wrestling history, they were able to just put on a 4-hour show and leave it at that one night, and nothing. And there was no issues. All of a sudden, they're like, "Oh, we need to feature everybody, so we need to have 2 nights." Not really, bro. But yeah, it was still a good overall. If you combine both shows, there was enough there to make it. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree with you though, man. And from now on, if I'm gonna party hardy, I'm just gonna choose one of the nights to party hardy because I can't do it for 2 nights anymore. That's the last time. Robert, thumbs up,
Hard.
thumbs down,
I would probably give it an Orange Cassidy thumbs up.
half
Okay,
thumbs up.
so I'll do it. I'll say this for night one. I'd give it a thumbs down because it was outside of the main event. It was pretty lackluster.
That's fair.
Night two was definitely better. I probably my initial reaction to the John Cena Cody Rhodes result was pretty good, but in hindsight, after a few days, it was okay. One thing that I really disliked about WrestleMania overall is that damn theme song that couldn't stop playing.
Oh, this year.
Oh my goodness. Man. Horrible, man. Like,
That was
So,
another
yeah.
reason that Travis Scott's pop was really like everyone knew what that song was. Like, oh my god. Okay. Yep. I agree with that. That was kind of stuck in my head the next day.
For sure, but not for any good reason. It was like, yeah, I can't believe that's a song that they play at clubs or wherever. That would annoy the fuck out of me.
Okay. Before we say our goodbyes to the YouTube universe for a while, my honorable mentions for the week, obviously Rusev returning to
Yeah.
WWE.
Very
Rusev
cool.
Day. Miro. I kind of wanted him to be Miro, the Redeemer, but okay, he's Rusev.
Yeah, he's no longer feuding with God and not talking about his hot, flexible wife.
Yeah, forget about that wife, man. Get another wife. In a similar vein, Malachi-
Another wife. Okay, go ahead.
Malachi Black, aka
Oh, yeah.
I guess now Aleister Black,
Aleister Black.
has
yeah.
also returned to WWE in a great segment with Miz. Miz was venting about not being on WrestleMania, and then Aleister Black came and kicked him in the face. Fucking hilarious. I love wrestling, man. I don't know. I like Vlad. I can't get enough of it. I think it's so fucking good. But okay.
Okay.
We had our discussion about AEW falling, their downfall recently, and so here are two guys from AEW, and they're headed back to WWE because nobody wants to be in AEW right now, I guess. So,
Some people
also,
probably do, but
rest in peace, Steve Mongo McMichael.
yeah, Mongo, yeah.
Who we've covered on this show on our WCW 1996 reviews. He's been on a few of our segments, so we've seen him on this show before. So he's related to our show. Maybe I'll put him in the Malapert Smark Hall of Fame one day. We'll see. He's a candidate. Steve Mongo McMichael. I remember him from when I was a kid. Too bad.
Yeah, Mongo was cool.
You remember this guy Crowbar in WCW, Vlad?
Did he die too?
No, he just had a match on Ring of Honor on Thursday.
oh my god. Wow.
This guy looks. Okay, let me tell you, WCW. This is a guy that I thought would have surely died. The fact that he's still
Dude,
wrestling now.
I was not expecting because today I was like catching up on wrestling that I haven't watched, so I watched Ring of Honor from last Thursday, and this guy, I'm like, is that Crowbar from WCW? And it is. Like, what the fuck?
Did he not
Okay.
also wrestle in TNA? Well, you probably would know, or maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Did he not wrestle in TNA as well?
Probably, yeah, in the
Okay.
early days, yes.
Early days,
All right, so that'll conclude our show today. So we're saying farewell today to the viewers. This is our goodbye show. We're going on a break because watching wrestling is one thing, but doing a podcast and preparing it and editing it. So I'm taking a break. I'm taking some time off. Also, it's monetary, man. This is time consuming, and at this point, it doesn't make money. So I need to spend some time making money, man, because everyone here in America is freaking broke. Things are going to shit. So if we have extra time, we need to be making money because we need to save up money because we don't know what the hell's going to happen. So, yeah, if I ever have like no money problems and I don't have to think about money, I would literally just sit here and stream wrestling all day and just talk about wrestling. I swear to God, this is what I would do. This is so easy and cool to me, you know. But I can't. It's different though when you have a job and you get off your job and you're tired already. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but we've had a good time with it. I think we put in a good run. We have a lot of content out there. We have 2 full series. I'll put links to them in the description. The Hogan the WCW after Hogan turned heel in 1996. We've done a whole series all the way up till October from Bash at the Beach, and then WWF too. We did that same period after SummerSlam all the way till October. So we have some nice playlists. And also, in addition, we've reviewed all of 2023 and 2024 here. And we're going to continue to do our blog posts. So on our YouTube Communities tab, I'll show you how to do that. I think on the phone it's called Community, but on the computer, it just says Posts. On the computer, it's the Post tab. On the phone, it says Community for some reason. I don't know why it's different on each one. But yeah, you can go to our YouTube page and go to the Post tab, and we have reviews, our blog post reviews. So if we're not going to be here, I'm going to review stuff like this, and you could review any show, like this is Dynamite, for example, and click the link provided, and you could go down to see what we thought of every angle, and if Vlad won't be doing AEW anymore, but we'll see. I'll be doing it, and you can see all the angles and what I thought of it. So that'll be available to you. Other than that, it's not goodbye, it's see you later, right? Because hopefully we'll do this someday again. If I die, then yeah, we won't do it again because I'll be dead. But it's always a possibility. You never know.
This guy was dying all the time.
Talk about death so much, man.
It's possible, man. It's possible. I do think about it a lot, man. You could get hit by a freaking someone. Like you ever be walking down the street and just think like, damn, what if that driver just falls asleep and just rams into me?
You watch too much Final Destination.
Oh my god, I can't wait for the next Final Destination. Okay. But with that being said, yes, the Malapert Smark Podcast is on indefinite hiatus. So I would like to thank Vlad and Robert for being on the show with me these past few years and months. And I guess I'll just put like some time on the clock, maybe like 5 minutes. Anything anybody wants to say as we say goodbye to this chapter of wrestling. And when we come back, we don't know what's going to happen. Maybe John Cena will still be champion, or maybe he will have lost the championship, or maybe he left with the title and he's the last real champion. But okay, anything anybody wants to say about anything, it's up to you. This is your last chance. What do you think, Vlad?
No,
this
I
is
mean
the last 5 minutes of the show.
No, I mean it's fun to talk about wrestling. It's fun to analyze it and discuss it. But I think it's a good time to take a break just because post WrestleMania, I want to focus on other stuff that's going on with personally and professionally, and it's a lot of time to spend to first watch it, analyze it, discuss it. I mean, I know you basically do all the stuff to get the podcast going, but as far as just watching the shows,
no, but it's a lot of shows. It's a lot of shit, man. Like that's a criticism of wrestling in general. They oversaturate us with like, Robert, come on, like how many fucking shows are there?
Yeah, no,
that's a fact.
It's too much.
And you kind of do have to follow all of them to kind of know what's going on. You know what I mean? Especially
you do.
So I don't know. That is a criticism of wrestling. It's hard to get people into wrestling who don't watch wrestling. You know what I mean? It's hard to convince them because it's
and there's no breaks. It just goes on and on. It's like it's the show. It's not like, oh, this is a season and then they'll be back in a couple of months or they'll be back in a year. No, they're back they're back every week, and then there's
well, this is
shows.
an issue. Like cosmically, okay, this is an interesting conversation because if you were to be like a higher up at a wrestling company, like say AEW or TNA, and you're really trying to get people interested in this show, but wrestling as the way it is, the way it stands, is kind of not good content. Like most of it kind of fucking sucks. You know what I mean? There's very little story. There's a lot of fluff, a lot of matches. Like you can't really talk to a serious person and recommend them to watch this shit. You know what I mean? Am I? You know what I'm saying or no? Am I kind of like? How would you change it in a big way to kind of get more people interested in it? Or is there a way? Or is wrestling just what it is? You either like this or you don't. It's just a match. Someone's going to interfere. Someone's going to get on the apron. You know what it is, and that's what it is. You either like it or you don't, I guess.
I think it's what you just said. You either have to like it or you don't. There's not much really they can do to change wrestling at this point. it kind of is what it is. I mean, they can come up with some hot stuff or some whatever creative wrestling, but there's not much else they could do.
The way it's presented, it's pretty bad. I don't know. Maybe a better highlights show, something that just kind of summarizes the story real quick for people who don't want to watch 9 hours of WWE a week. You know what I mean? Like that's too much. That's impossible for people.
Well, I think it just continues. I think that's my biggest issue right now with it. I mean, it was not a problem when I was a kid, but when you're a kid, you don't think about these things and you don't really care about this stuff. You actually want to watch it, but right now it's just like it's too much, and it's every week, and I can't. I don't think I can do it much longer.
All right, let's get some thoughts from Robert. Robert, cosmically, your cosmic thoughts on wrestling, please.
All right, that felt kind of like a loaded question, but all right. So, as far as the state of wrestling and how it can change, it's difficult because the storytelling in wrestling, it always has to fit within the framework of setting up angles that the resolution happens in the ring, right? That's what it boils down to. Like we're setting up an angle, building pay-per-views, and we get resolutions that happen in matches. So it always has to fit in that framework one way or another, because that's just how wrestling works. So it's difficult to say how to change wrestling and how to improve the state of wrestling. But I want to go back to, because this is supposed to be a farewell. I want to pivot back to that. I only have 20 seconds.
Sure. Take as much time as you need. Don't worry.
I just wanted to say, this was a great run. It was fun because, when I was first asked to join on this podcast, like I figured, okay, well, it's something I already do with Kehan anyways. And when I see him, we one of our primary topics that we talk about is wrestling anyways. So it's something we already do naturally. So jumping on a podcast and talking about it is kind of like an extension of what we already do, right? Except we're being recorded and it's a little bit more organized. So I never imagined I'd be in a podcast before I was invited to this. So it was a great experience. And it was great to hear like different perspectives on the state of wrestling and all the specific angles here and there. So yeah, it was good, and I don't know if how long the hiatus would be, or again, like what the message said, it is not goodbye, it's see you later. But if we do come back when that happens, I'll be looking forward to it again.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. I definitely want to echo what Robert just said. It's been a great couple of years talking wrestling. I actually sometimes used it as a kind of a therapy or decompressing session, like forgetting about stuff in life and just focusing on that. Actually, it has a calming effect. Now, I know sometimes for Kehan, sometimes it's a stressful situation because he has to put the whole thing together. So that's a different story. But I'm just saying from my perspective, just when we're on camera and we're getting to talk about this stuff, it's kind of cool. And I've enjoyed it, and I've used it as kind of a therapeutic situation when we're doing this thing, kind of helps with anxiety and stuff like that, or some of the anxieties that I have. So I've enjoyed that aspect of things. So I do appreciate Kehan actually putting this whole show together, having that idea and the wherewithal to put it all together. So yeah. So I guess what I'm saying is, thank you, Kehan.
Thank you, Kehan.
Well, this part, the producing of it and fucking cutting it up is annoying. But this part where we talk, that's like the easiest part. Like we kill 2 hours so fucking easy. You know what I mean? We could probably go even longer, but we just don't have time. You know what I mean? But we never have like trouble killing time for wrestling. Plus, there's so much wrestling to talk. You know what I mean? So Yep. All right. So with that being said, I think through 2 years of our show, we've had about 200,000 YouTube views, and that's not including other platforms. I guess I posted some stuff on social medias. So just 200,000 from YouTube, which isn't a lot, really, compared to other channels. But to me,
Sure.
if you divide that up by how many days there are in 2 years, it's about 300 views a day. Can you believe that? 300 people somehow might have clicked on us in a day. And to me, I mean, I think we just made ourselves famous. You two, Hall of Famers,
Yes.
obviously, and me, a legend.
Yes.
I'm the
All right.
Malapert Smark. Bon voyage, motherfuckers. Yeah, that's how we're saying goodbye, I guess.
That's a perfect ending to the show.
All right, we'll see you. We'll see you when we see you. All right, then. Have fun watching the wrestling. Go to our blog post if you want reviews. Other than that, we'll see you when we see you. Have a good one.
Turn on the lights, feel the beat. Press and tails can't be beat. Join the crew, take your seat. Welcome to the Wrestle Heat. Malapert Smark, time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. The Smark's always high. Fights and myths, all we say. Heroes rise till they sway. In the ring, night and day. Wrestling talk, come and stay. Malapert Smark, time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. The Smark's always high. The mat, crash and cheer. All the news you wanna hear. Wealth and fame always near. With the crew, have no fear. Malapert Smark, time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. The Smark's always high. Malapert Smark, time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. The Smark's always high.